afternoon here. And we have some breaking baseball news that we need to go right into the show with here. Now, if you're not familiar with him, Ryan Spader at the Ace of Spader on Twitter unleashed a tweet storm this afternoon, which is just throwing away accusations of mass cheating across the sport. So I'm going to go ahead and just read this tweet storm because you just need to hear it, then digest it, then we'll get through it, right? Mm-hmm. So we started off last night at 1:50 in the morning. I've had enough. I think I'm coming out with everything tomorrow, going to sleep on it. Then he followed about 2 hours ago. Everything that I'm about to say was verified by more than one player. I do not mean to burn anyone, and I love baseball. I've just had enough of the BS. The Royals were the first team with a full analytics and video department close by their dugout, doing so in 2015, their World Series championship year. How they used it, I do not know. The Yankees had cameras in left, center, and right field, all pointing at the pitcher's glove rather than the catcher to pick up his grip. Then he showed Aaron Judge's splits from home and road. Aaron Judge at home hit 312. On the road, he hit 256. The Dodgers had an employee who was caught setting up cameras at Minute Maid Park wearing an MLB polo shirt when he should have been wearing a Dodgers polo during the 2017 World Series. This one hurts to say, my favorite player ever, Chase Utley, was the biggest cheater of all time.
For more reasons than just this.
As insane as this sounds, I've heard this from multiple players. Adrian Beltre had a buddy with binoculars in dead center who would wave a beater or an undershirt if he was getting something off speed in 2017. Adrian Beltre's batting average at home that year, 362. On the road, 271. An almost 100-point difference in batting average. Everything Aaron Kratz already said about the Rockies, I'll get to that in a second. And the Astros sign-stealing method all came from Carlos Beltran, the New York Yankees, and the Texas Rangers. Now, the thing he said in related to Aaron Kratz was that he accused the Rockies of sign-stealing during the 2018 NLDS. Kratz pointed out the only runs the Rockies scored in the entire series were 2 runs in the 9th inning of one of the games in Milwaukee. Brewers pitchers held them to almost nothing in the 3-game series. So
the first thing I want to, for me, he's not. I think you know where I'm going to go with this.
Go on.
This when he was 2015 NLDS Mets Dodgers. Mm-hmm. He slides into second, completely ruins the ankle. I believe it was a Mets shortstop Ruben Tejada.
Yep.
So he's also a cheater for that.
Oh, that led to one of the most viral clips of all time of Terry Collins saying that their A-word was in the jackpot now from a game following that year when they were playing the Dodgers again. But looking into this, it's just like, everyone's cheating.
Well, and who is this guy making these tweets?
Oh, Ryan Spader. He is an MLB reporter and analyst. He's someone who's just outside of like the baseball world.
Where I haven't heard of him before, and I generally keep up with baseball more than anything. So
he's not like a Buster Olney or a Ken Rosenthal. He's like that next tier of people, but he's very much connected.
Yeah, trustworthy.
Trustworthy. He has the check mark next to his thing on Twitter. So
he's got the check mark.
So that means he's verified.
Well, I'm just wondering because I wonder what kind of response the people accused are gonna have to this. Nothing's come out yet. I mean, I've been looking nonstop ever since you showed me these tweets, and nobody's saying anything about it.
I wonder if they're even talking about it on MLB Network yet. I tried to look, and I couldn't get MLB Network here.
See, the thing is with this, that they're going to have to, all the people, either MLB Network or ESPN or what have you, are going to have to go in and find and verify this information. So it's going to take a minute. So not only do they have to find people willing to talk about it, they're going to have to find more than one person to talk about it. Then they're going to have to double check the information and verify that it's all correct. It's going to take time. It's very easy just to go on Twitter and tweet things out there. But Ryan Spader is a credible source of information. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people that in the sports world that are not.
Right. I guess I'm just wondering how it's all going to unfold now.
I mean, like, the Royals won that World Series in 5 games against the Mets in 2015. Mm-hmm. But that playoff run they had was amazing. Like, if you remember, like, Game 6 against the Blue Jays in the ALCS. So, and I enjoyed watching that that Royals team. So if this does come out to be true, which
It certainly seems like it. It's basically, hey, do you like an MLB team? Hey, guess what? They're cheating.
yeah,
Yeah, Eddie Guerrero's in the Berserk box?
what?
You ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Well, that was something I wanted to bring up too. Is if you just consider this as a given, say it's obvious cheating in baseball.
Yeah.
And we've obviously seen cheating in other sports. Football with the stuff we've talked about before, like the Patriots. So, I guess the question is, how do you feel about this? Is cheating something that bothers you like it bothers me? Because I still see it as a moral issue. It still bothers me when I see it. I've said before my feelings about Bill Belichick. So I guess I'm just wondering, like, how do you feel about this overall?
I'll let you go first on this one, and then I'll jump in.
For me, if it was just another team that was just exposed to have an Astros type garbage can video thing situation, it would be one thing. But this is just basically like, hey, here's all the teams that cheated, and it's basically everybody.
Feels pretty expensive.
And so it's not like, I'm just like, I get it. I expected something like this to come out eventually once the whole Astros thing came out in the end of 2019.
Right.
But so it was just like something like, what's the next thing? What's the other shoe to drop? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
So you think this is the first of many?
oh, absolutely. We're going to find out about a whole bunch of other teams that are doing something very similar, or if not exactly the same.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always been rumors about, in Milwaukee, whether there could be like someone controlling the lights up there to tell them if it's a breaking ball or a fastball.
I mean, I know this isn't cheating, but the Rockies, when they started putting their baseballs in a humidor at Coors Field, the number of home runs went down drastically.
Well, that's just to make it so it's not a launching pad. That's just a way to make the game a little bit more entertainable than a home run derby for 81 games.
Right. I'm just saying that's a way
Well,
of.
and that kind of brings in the question too of where do you draw the line and call it cheating? Because there's certain things you are allowed to do in baseball and other sports that might not necessarily be the most sportsmanship thing to do, but they're allowed. So it's not technically cheating.
Right. I mean, you look at this whole spider attack thing and illegal foreign substances that pitchers are using now, where you get like 10-game suspension, and I know we'll get into that a little bit later, but still, like, that's a form of cheating. Or like PEDs, steroids, that's cheating.
So what I'm left wondering after all of this, and the reason I asked so much about who this was, is I also wondered after all this was, why now? Why did this all come out now? Was there something that
It's because of the Astros.
Well, it's not just because the Astros. And here's my theory. I don't have. This is just a theory.
I'm just thinking.
Here's my working theory, and it's because of all discussions about pitchers that we're having right now, and foreign substances, and spider attack, and all the things happening. So if we're doing one expose of people cheating, let's just do the whole dump of everybody.
Let's get everybody out there.
Yeah, just be like, it's not just the pitchers cheating. Guess what? The batters are too. Yeah, maybe.
Some of them are very not so good at their job.
Yeah.
I don't know about umpires cheating, but Kramer's right. Not all the umpires are up to par.
If you're asking me if there's some sort of Tim Donaghy situation with an umpire, not that I know of.
So I wonder with like this pitching and the way pitching's dominated baseball, that's brought down some viewership. That's brought down some of the MLB's fans, I feel like, because it makes the game a little bit less exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of gives you an incentive to start bringing this kind of stuff out too, because the MLB needs to now find a way to make the game exciting again.
Right.
They need to get offense going again, and this hopefully will start to turn that tide.
It should. I mean, they're having discussions about limitations with the shift and a pitch clock in between pitches. Because I heard someone explain it to me with the pitch thing and how the long time between pitches is actually impacting the game, not just game-wise, but because they're taking so much time in between their pitches, their body's just allowing to recharge and get all their energy and any stress they put on to deload. And so if you look back in the day, they get the ball and like 5 seconds later, they're chucking the ball back to home plate. Now they're taking like 30 seconds, maybe a minute in between pitches. I mean, anyone that works out knows that once you go do like a heavy lift, you're not gonna like wait 5 seconds to go do another heavy lift. You need a minute or two to recharge.
Yeah.
You go, right? So that's the same thing that's what's happening with these pitches. That's why you see people throwing 100 all the time. It's not, oh my God, they have a guy that throws 100. It's, oh my God, that guy doesn't throw 100.
Well, yeah, when you have pitchers taking a whole minute in between pitches to recover, that's a great point.
It's kind of crazy that, like, you don't see many pitchers throwing complete games anymore.
No, and there's a couple of reasons for that. It's protecting their players to make sure they don't throw out their arms.
Completely understandable.
And it's numbers. So this is just the extreme of analytical advanced data saying that at this certain point in the game, whether pitch or inning, this player is no longer effective. So instead of trotting him out there for a result, you know what's going to happen. It's let's get him out of there. Let's go to a reliever because this guy's going to be effective for the one inning that we need him.
I understand that, but I feel like not seeing pitchers throw the complete game as much anymore, it feels like it's kind of a lost art, if you will.
Oh, wait, you want to see some more Walter Johnson type performances where he throws like 40 complete games a year?
Well, and the more science is developed too, and the more like they learn about safety. I mean, if you go back to any sport like 40, 50, 60 years ago,
It's entirely
football,
different.
I mean, they didn't even have like legitimate helmets on. They were just out there smacking each other in the head all day.
Yeah. And, we're going to get back into some baseball later, but we had to head to a break right now. When we come back, we got a whole lot of basketball-related topics to talk about.
And we actually have a little bit of breaking news right now.
What's up?
Mavericks are moving on from their GM, Donnie Nelson, after 24 years.
Yeah.
So you want to start with that?
Yeah, so mention the Cavs thing first that you wanted to mention.
Oh,
Just that one sentence that we can get in there. Then
that 29.
the Donnie Nelson thing we'll put in segment 3 because that's just everyone getting like out.
Okay. We're still live on my live stream.
Yeah.
All right.
Not want to see Chris Paul get a ring. Man got COVID.
Yep. It's gonna be on the list. I did the first segment was good.
I like starting strong like that. I feel like that when I put the video up and we have a good first segment like that, it gets more views, longer views.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with that.
We have like 3 people watching right now.
Awesome.
Although I'm one of them because I'm.
You're watching yourself.
Well, no,
You're A-Rod in the mirror.
well, no, because I want to see if there are any comments or questions. Because I put in the chat. If you have any questions or comments for the show, please write them in the live comments. We will address them.
You know what, Josh? You're a comment.
I don't even know how that's an insult. So
It's just an insult.
Who said it was an insult? You said it was an insult.
this is the type of stuff we do during commercial breaks.
We have a fun time here.
Hope you're enjoying the live stream here on Unger to the Max, my YouTube channel.
I feel like you like definitely emphasized the my YouTube channel.
I thought it was going to be mine because my name is definitely not Unger or Max.
I also feel that they know it's your YouTube channel.
They're watching your channel.
Yeah, true. Okay.
You sure it's not your YouTube channel, Craig?
I'm pretty sure. Not yet, anyway.
Excuse me?
You're not excused.
Okay.
You said excuse me. I said no. I refuse.
Here you go, Karen. Got about 4 hours. Till the Indians game tonight.
Oh.
Well, that's a long show.
To celebrate my buddy's 21st birthday.
I want the show. Like, we doing that extended version today?
We We are back here on So What's the Catch on All Sports Cleveland at the wonderful Ohio Media School. And what's that, Chirk?
What you got, Chirk?
You stealing my lines?
You were just going to repeat here at the Ohio Media School, weren't you?
I'm on top of this.
We got it in here. You stay in the box.
I am a more than competent host, my friend. Nobody puts Berserk in the box.
I don't think you. Yeah, that's true. And he's rocking the sunglasses from last week, ladies and gentlemen.
Especially ladies.
All right, Josh, you had something you wanted to mention before we get into a deep dive here.
Yes, the 5-year anniversary of the Cavaliers capping their 3-1 comeback against the 73-win Golden State Warriors is this Friday, June 19th.
For the game 7.
Yep, when we won the title.
That day, it felt like time froze. It felt like it just froze throughout the day. I just didn't know what was going to happen.
I know.
Friday the 18th.
Oh, then it's Saturday.
Either way, it's coming up.
Yeah, Juneteenth.
Either way, it's coming up. But let's get into the NBA playoff discussion. There's one thing in particular I wanted to kick this off with, and it's holy crap, Kevin Durant is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you didn't know that.
Oh, I already knew that. It's just like I thought the Nets were going to get left for dead after those 2 games, and they had like 20% of James Harden playing.
Yeah, he only scored 5 points.
You were really just out there to be coy.
Pretty much.
So, I have a question for you, and I've asked this to you off camera and off mic before. But if Kevin Durant wins a title with the Nets, does that repair his legacy for leaving Oklahoma City and joining the Warriors? What do you guys think? Does it repair his legacy for what he did with Golden State?
I can do this very simply. No.
How come?
It just doesn't. Period. I mean, because they're totally different things. Okay, is he a great basketball player? Yes. Do I respect him as a basketball player? Yes. Do I think he's a great person? No.
And so here's what I think ultimately it's going to come down to, and it's that you're going to have to separate Golden State Kevin Durant from the rest of his career, Kevin Durant. Yeah. That's going to be the only fair way to judge his career, because if you try and loop it all together, it becomes very complicated. You really can't get yourself to a definite answer. You'd be like, I hate Kevin Durant for doing what he did, but he's so good with the Thunder. He was really good with the Nets.
He was also good with Seattle before they moved to Oklahoma City.
That's a whole different story for a different day.
I blame Howard Schultz for that one.
But speaking about the Nets, they're up 3-2 over the Bucks. Kyrie is still listed as out for Game 6. Harden is available, which whatever they get out of him is just going to be a bonus. But
I see them losing, and then magically Game 7, everybody's healthy.
That's what I see is happening.
Yeah.
I think they got really gassed out in that last game.
Yeah.
Durant was the first player to play all 48 minutes since LeBron a couple years ago when he was in Cleveland.
What's going on with Irving? Because I did not see that, but I kept seeing over the weekend LeBron James tweeting about him.
He
Pretty
had
bad injury or something?
suffered a high ankle sprain in Game 4 against Milwaukee. And people were saying, Kevin Durant's going to have to do it on his own. And although Harden was there in Game 5, Durant pretty much did it on his own.
Mm-hmm. He pretty much did it on his own.
Because Harden only scored, 5 points? If that?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
1 for 10.
He was 0 for 8 for 3. I know that. James Harden finished with 5 points, 3 of them coming on free throws, and he made 1 shot from the field, 1 for 10.
That's a remarkable game.
He was out there to keep him worried. If he got hot or got in a rhythm, it was over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on to the game, one of the games today, Kawhi Leonard is out today for the Clippers. He might miss the rest of the Western Conference semifinals, and it might be an ACL injury.
Yep, just about to. I see Utah winning. I have them winning this series either way. But now they're definitely going to win. I don't think Paul George is going to be able to do this by himself.
Are you gonna be playoff team? And that's the thing. Playoff team.
It's so hard to say with
No.
so hard to say with Paul George because he'll have games where it's like, oh, Paul George is looking like Paul George, and then he'll have games where it's like,
He looks like Paul George. Yeah.
I got a question. Why was Paul George good early in the end?
it's
He had to do it by himself. He was just a start.
yeah, and also he had a good team around him with Roy Hibbert, David West, George Hill, Lance Stevenson.
That team was better than I think time remembers.
Yeah, like since he's left, he hasn't been like the main star. He's like
Right.
the second role.
Exactly.
And
No,
no, Westbrook
no,
still was,
Westbrook
but
was definitely the main star.
and I'll say this about Paul George in Indiana. He didn't get the attention because it's the Pacers. Okay.
Yeah, but they were.
You know, you're not going to be.
Small market.
It's a small market. You're going to constantly talk about Paul George on the Pacers. If you put him with someone like Russell Westbrook, then yes, you'll talk about him. You put him in LA, it's LA. I mean,
Yeah.
of course,
Do
they're
you
talk about him.
But do you remember those epic Eastern Conference Finals the Pacers had against Miami?
Yeah, but what's the most memorable clip from that entire sequence, that series? It's Lance Stevenson blowing in LeBron's ear. No one cares about what Paul George did.
And Lance Stevenson going to his half under.
Yeah, true.
It's all Lance Stevenson. Nobody remembers Paul George in that.
Yeah, true.
I remember one dunk he did on Chris Anderson.
Oh, yeah? Birdman?
Yeah.
But-
I love Birdman.
I agree that Utah is most likely going to win this series now, but I think a huge piece of the puzzle that we're not talking about is Mike Conley going to play for Utah?
Tonight,
I'm saying for the remainder of the
I
series.
feel, what's it, 2-2?
Yeah, 2-2.
Okay. So this is how I see it. If Kawhi Leonard is out just for the remainder. Utah wins. Mike Conley comes back in the Western Conference Finals.
I'm with you on that.
Because I think for Utah to potentially win the NBA Finals, let alone make it to the NBA Finals, they need Mike Conley.
And
I don't think they're going to the finals anyways, but we can get into a little bit of that a little bit later in
I'm
this segment.
right now.
But we got one more before we get into the other team that's not currently playing right now, and that's Hawks and Sixers.
That game,
That one I'm kind of torn apart. Like I don't know. I want Trae Young with. I like Trae Young. I like Ben Simmons too, but that
And-
one is a matchup.
Embiid's hurt, isn't he?
Is he?
yeah,
Chirk is Embiid hurt.
he's something partial tear in his meniscus, I believe it is.
Ouch. So here's the way I see it: is if Embiid is hurt and limited, that hurts the Sixers' chances because it ain't nobody scared of Ben Simmons outside the paint. Okay.
And then if you put Thibault out there, it's just nobody else can shoot.
Right.
So I could see the Hawks possibly coming out of this series here.
Yeah.
But I think if the Hawks win this series, they'll lose to Milwaukee or Brooklyn in the Eastern Conference
Yeah.
Finals.
Mhm.
But if the Sixers win and Embiid's not hurt, they might present a challenge to somebody.
Definitely.
Do you think that this is just a fluke year for Atlanta, or are they becoming a legit threat?
They have good pieces. Like they did a real good rebuild. Like I like their rebuild. What they did. I don't think this is a fluke at all.
So you think they're becoming a legit contender?
I think they're 1 to 2 years away from being legit contenders.
Yeah.
I think they're good. They're fun. They're that fun, sneaky team right now. They
Mhm.
need another guy. They need someone else to develop a little bit more. Then they'll be legit
But I still
contenders.
think John Collins has like a couple more years before he's fully developed,
Yeah.
and they still need a couple more pieces before they actually can like compete against like the Nets
Right.
or any other finals team.
So Chirk, I got something for you. If this version of the Hawks were playing the 2015 or 2016 Golden State Warriors, I'm not asking who would win, because most likely Golden State would, but how many games do you think that series would go?
Did you have this last week?
8.
I think you've asked us this before, but I think you've asked this before, and I'll just answer this. That series goes 4 games with Golden State sweeping. We have one more team to talk about. That's the Suns. And holy crap, did something I said yesterday on my radio show come back to haunt me this morning, because I declared the Suns the team of destiny yesterday. Then I woke up this morning and I got a little notification, from Shams Trina, and it said, "Oh, Chris Paul having the COVID-19 protocol, and no one knows he's coming back."
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, Team of Destiny just went out the door.
What thing? 2 weeks? You got like just the illness of COVID, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
It said that they got to do like follow-up testing, and then they'll be able to know how long the isolation period will be. But I'm just thinking, like, how different does the Western Conference look now with no Chris Paul and no Kawhi Leonard?
I think it's Utah's conference to lose now.
This is where I wanted to say earlier. I still got Utah winning that Clippers series. Suns are obviously already there. Now, you have both Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell. That's going to be a great matchup.
Yep.
Rudy Gobert versus Ayton.
Yep.
Both of their role players' respective benches. That should still be a good series if Mike Conley and Chris Paul don't play.
Yeah, it'll be even, right?
Utah, I said this earlier and I'll say it again. In order for Utah to do well in the remainder of the playoffs, Mike Conley needs to be healthy.
So I think if either Conley or Paul comes back, one or the other, not both,
Yeah.
I think whoever gets their guy back first is the team that wins.
Agreed.
So unlike the last round, unlike the internet famous friend from last week, there will not be Suns in 4 this this upcoming series.
No.
I think the Suns can still win it too. I mean, hopefully Chris Paul is able to come back healthy and he's able to limit his time from isolation. So my proclamation of Team of Destiny comes to fruition.
Right.
I mean, I think the Jazz had that great. Like, I know Rudy Gobert has great interior defense. I didn't think the Ingles and Bogdanovich had that good defense. Like, they were playing on Kawhi and Paul George the other night.
Bogdanovich has been a good pickup for Utah. I like him.
I
And
think
the Suns' defense has really scared me a little bit.
Yeah, so that next round is going to be pretty entertaining. We got to head to a break. When we come back, we got more basketball because this is a basketball-heavy episode here. So what's the catch on All Sports Cleveland?
Switch.
Can't wait till basketball's over.
And they were even saying this like during the game, like with Conley out, it's messing up Utah's rotations because like Ingles is starting for them, whereas he usually comes in off the bench with that second unit with Clarkson. So
I always forget Jordan Clarkson's on the Jazz.
he won 6th Man of the Year.
I knew he was capable of it. I wrote something a couple years ago about it.
Do we want to talk about Nikola Jokic and his flagrant foul?
No.
Cool.
I mean, that was like, what, not a year ago, a week ago?
No, that was just like a day or two ago.
I don't think that's a big deal.
Even though he won MVP?
The fouling. Like,
Yeah, a flagrant 2 got called on the MVP and he got ejected.
Suns before.
Yep, that's what the Suns did. They said, okay, we'll sweep you.
They, anyone here listen to Pardon My Take? They got the Suns at 4 guy in Pardon My Take today.
Yeah.
They were talking to him. He's in touch with the Suns and Devin Booker and all those other people for fun stuff. They partnered up for a T-shirt. He'll get some of the proceeds for it. Him and Barnesville Sports did. But having the Suns and 4 guy in there was pretty fun. They were breaking down the video and what happened, and making fun of the 2 guys in the Jamal Murray jerseys.
Are we coming back with the Donnie Nelson story?
Yeah, we're gonna come back with that real quick. I mean, we're not gonna really break that down. I'm just gonna mention it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
No problem.
why does Jokic's brothers look like Serbian gang members?
I think you answered your own question. What's your question?
I would agree with James on that one.
That's just my guess. I have no idea.
They look like they just kept them off the streets. And you look at Jokic.
Maybe just about portraying that image. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Lake County Captains Baseball. I6.
Welcome back to So What's the Catch here on All Sports Cleveland. I see Chirk's nodding his head over in the dessert box over there.
What's up, Chirk?
He's having a good time.
You vibing?
All right.
Okay, so
Chirk's vibing. All right.
So we got another punch for you on that subject, and it's that Donnie Nelson, the general manager with the Dallas Mavericks for 24 years, and is stepping away. Yes,
Donnie Nelson, not Don Nelson. Donnie Nelson.
the Mavericks and Donnie Nelson have mutually agreed to part ways after 24 years in the organization.
Me as a Luka fan, not really a Dallas fan, more so just Luka. That's good. Find him some help because I hear Luka is kind of. They don't know if he's gonna like sign the contract or if he's
Yeah. Mark Cuban, I heard the past couple of days, is just trying to brush that under the rug. You heard about that?
I don't know. I'm not really worried if he leaves. I'm still a fan. But
I want to see Luka stay in Dallas to continue the European legacy that Dirk kind of set.
So the one thing I'll say on this is that I'm getting very, very strong LeBron and Cleveland first round vibes in this whole thing.
Yeah.
There's rumors that Doncic might leave, and then they make the GM change. If the new GM that they get doesn't, mesh well with Luka, and we find out about it or stuff doesn't go, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised, but I would like to see him stay in Dallas because I don't like to see star players bounce around all that much. If you say Cleveland, I'm going to backhand you.
No, stop it. Stop.
That's a step back. That's a step back.
Oh, Jesus, we have a better chance of playing with Porzingis than we do Doncic.
I would like, on the
We're not
subject
going to
of
the finals.
the Cavs, I think we should try and somehow get CJ McCollum to come to Cleveland.
Interesting bit of history on that Donnie Nelson dude. He, 2 decades apart, was the widely credited for scouting and the acquisition of both of your European players,
Dirk and
Luka. Definitely a successful guy.
Yeah.
Donnie Nelson?
The GM? I don't know. Does it really matter?
Yeah.
I would say with the Mavericks, though, they are facing a tough summer because I heard Porzingis is unhappy.
Yeah, because he thought he was going to be like a co-star with Luka, and that didn't happen.
Let's be real here. Porzingis he's damaged goods. Okay,
Kind of fragile.
He's fragile. He's a big man who isn't a big man.
He made me mad.
And he has no agility. His knees are shot.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He has the athletic ability of Kevin Love, but like he's 8 years younger.
I like some of the pieces the Mavericks have, though, with Tim Hardaway Jr.,
Brunson.
Jalen Brunson, Nova Nation baby,
The White Powell. I like the Mavericks.
Dwight Powell. Yep.
They just need some different pieces.
Yeah. Josh Richardson, I think, is good for the Mavs. They have some nice pieces, but they just don't have the right chemistry for some reason. Is that Carlisle?
What about Rick Carlisle? Is it
Is
Carlisle's
that-
problem?
Is it Carlisle's fault?
I don't know. I like Rick Carlisle. He's been a pretty good coach everywhere he's been. Indiana, Detroit. He's been in Dallas for the longest part of his career.
He might have been.
I think.
Yeah, he was a fan that threw the stuff around our jaw.
Another world peace, actually.
Time is wrong, though.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Moving on, we had some other news earlier today. Speaking of possible issues down the line with star player Stan Van Gundy out as the Pelicans head coach.
After one season.
What does that mean for them? It's just like that was not that big of news to me.
I mean, it's just. I think Stan Van Gundy's time as a coach is done. Honestly,
It
at
should
this
be.
point, his
I
last.
should have stopped that with Dwight.
I didn't mind him going to Detroit for that brief period.
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
that team was just in a constant state of just wandering the wilderness of not being able to find an identity. They had one for a minute, but now they're back to
wander in the woods.
I mean, Dwayne Casey's an all right coach, but
He won Coach of the Year
their
for the
roster-
Raptors.
their roster just needs a whole bunch of help.
Yep.
Is what they need. They've had some bad drafts, some bad free agent acquisitions over the past decade.
They
That
had
hasn't helped them.
stars that just wanted to leave.
And they wanted, yeah, the players that were there, they just didn't know.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
still remember that 2004 squad with Detroit. Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, Rip Hamilton, Chauncey Billups.
How old were you?
Oh God, 2004?
Forgot about Keyshawn.
Yeah, Tayshaun Prince.
You're 24, right?
Yeah, I'm 24.
So you were like 7.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, I was 16, living in Michigan at the time,
I
going
was
to
4.
Pistons games on a regular basis at the Palace. Funny story, me and my dad actually had tickets for the Palace game, but he had to go out of town, so we weren't able to go to that game.
The universe works in weird ways.
Sometimes it does. It's probably better that we didn't go to that game.
Yeah.
Continuing on the rundown of basketball news today, Scott Brooks in Washington has parted ways, so the Wizards are looking for a new coach.
Was it? I feel like I think Westbrook stays because him and Scott Brooks have a really good relationship.
I don't know.
The Wizards have just been, I don't know, wizarding. I don't know. I don't know how else to describe it. Wizarding is not a good term. You know how people used to call it, like Brownsing for the Browns? Yeah.
Can we?
Yeah.
Wait, before we continue, can we say the Pirates are pirating? Because
Do
You
we
can say
have
that.
do
I'm
we
gonna
have
say
a we
that.
have a Browns topic coming up, right?
Yeah, we do.
All right, because I have something to touch back when we get back to that.
Yeah, when we have football coming up in the next segment. This one's we're rounding out some basketball
Wait,
stuff.
yes,
Just felt
we-
like getting it all knocked
Well,
out.
the
right at once.
wizarding. It seems like for every team, because we were talking earlier. It's just funny you brought that up, Josh and I, about how the Pirates are that team for baseball, pirating.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
for the longest
pirating.
time, the Browns were, and
Yeah, we can dive in that in the next segment.
pirating.
But what do you think the Wizards are going to do? I mean, it's been questions about
Rebuild.
what do they do with Bradley Beal?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think he's gone because Ethan Norman's been trading Bradley Beal for 3 years now.
Yeah.
I mean, if he does resign, he's just gonna immediately ask for a trade out. Or try to do something.
They'll probably work a sign and trade with somebody, honestly.
I just hope he doesn't go to the Lakers.
I feel like that's probably the designated spot for him.
You know,
that'd be a great spot. You're going to say Cleveland again, aren't you?
I'm tired of him saying
No.
so much.
Chirk, nobody wants to come here.
Chirk,
everyone wants to
Chirk,
No.
at least, Chirk, if you're gonna say Cleveland, make it at least a realistic player. Not a
Yeah. Realistic players are include Alex
None of
Caruso
the
and
people
TJ
you
McConnell.
say
Nobody we
are
need.
realistic.
You don't think he got the
It's not about cap space. Do they want to come here, and what's the point of signing them?
Do they want to live in Cleveland?
Have,
I know.
have you ever seen a guy hug the sunset?
So with this,
Wait.
the Pelicans, with everything, the Pelicans, the Wizards, there's now 6 different head coaching jobs open.
That's crazy.
That's insane. It seems like there's going to be a hard time to fill all those positions.
Right.
Oh, wait, speaking of coach,
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, she could.
Yeah, I also heard. Yeah,
Mhm.
Mike D'Antoni is also interviewed to be the Trailblazers head coach. I hope that does not happen. I think if D'Antoni goes to Portland, that hurts Damian Lillard badly.
This is going to be an interesting summer, shake up for the free agency. Dame could be out. Luka might be. Bill. I honestly want to see where Westbrook goes.
Yeah. It's gonna shake a lot of things.
I was reading a little bit more into that Luka. I wasn't going to bring this back up, but
Okay,
since
fine.
I just said his name. So the Luka thing, the Cuban did a press conference yesterday, and what I guess it all came down to was there was a dude in the front office who he had beef with, and I didn't see this either, but apparently during the game it happened on live TV where the dude told Luka to calm down, and Luka was seen screaming at him, "Don't tell me to calm the F down." So there's a little bit of tension there. Cuban said, of course, it's all BS.
Of course.
What else is he going to say?
Again, he's just trying to sweep it under the rug.
I just thought it was interesting.
Protect the brand. That's what that is.
So there, like you said, this is going to be an interesting summer to see how all this happens.
Right. On the subject of Dame, though, he's not a free agent this summer.
He's still
He still has
He can still get trade.
Right. He still has. I know. I'm just saying. he has. I'm just clarifying that he's not going to be a free agent. If he's going to leave Portland, it would be through a trade.
Yeah.
Because he has, I think, like 3 years left on his contract, something like that.
We still got Kawhi, who could also act out too.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, there's this gonna be a lot of movement. There's gonna be a lot of movement this year.
It's going to be very, very interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
Speaking of movement and changes, LeBron James changed his number back to 6.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Yay!
Yeah, why? I just don't get it.
He wanted to do it when Anthony Davis first got traded, so he could give 23 to Anthony Davis. But
Davis has rejected that.
well, what happened was they're like, okay, you can do it, but you got to buy out all the back stock of all the LeBron James 23 jerseys. It would cost him like $20 million to do or something like that. Some outrageous number. He's like, okay, well, I'll just wait. And he waited to a certain point where he doesn't have to pay an outrageous number to change his number.
Doesn't get Miami LeBron back.
I don't know.
You're what, 19?
Yeah, something like that. Maybe.
Possibly.
So you hear me out here. The Lakers got eliminated just a little bit while after number back to 6. If you remember, he kind of went on I don't know. He played at an outrageous level with Miami when he switched to 6.
Yeah.
Maybe he's thinking, okay, I need to, revenge season. Let's go.
So you think this is all mindset?
This is a mental thing.
Well, interesting.
Everything with him is mental.
The interesting thing is that Anthony Davis, he's going to stay at number 3.
That's
so
right.
that number's open.
Yeah, that number is open. I mean, hey, Draymond Green, come on down to the Lakers.
Well, that's
Oh no!
it seems like a way to try to entice people in. Just another extra, hey, come take this number 6.
Could you imagine Draymond and LeBron being on the same team?
That would never happen. I was joking about that. But,
If it's not Team USA, I don't see it.
yes. But we got to head to a commercial break. We come back. We got a good discussion about football, Jeremy's favorite subject. So
Yeah.
Stick around and keep listening.
All right. You gotta believe like conspiracy theories, right?
Yeah, I love conspiracy
Okay.
theories.
All right. So if Bill leaves,
Mm-hmm.
he's definitely going to Lakers.
Yeah.
He was number 23 in college, right? LeBron just gave up 23. He can just go there
Well,
and get
yep,
23.
yep, yep,
And
there we
Davis
go.
already has 3. Yep. Okay. I called it here. You heard it
Okay.
here first.
Yeah, you heard it on the live stream.
You can say it when we come
Open. Yeah. I'll toss it to you, and you
Yeah.
give me the conspiracy. We'll all co-sign, then we'll get to football.
Yeah, and he said it was a tribute to LeBron, not Michael Jordan. So
Oh yeah, lock it in.
The only
Future Laker Bradley Beal.
The only reason I don't want Bradley Beal going to the Lakers is because I don't want it to be, it's for sure going to be Lakers Nets in the finals. Like I like fresh new matchups. Like that's why I like that the Lakers are out. Like because we're going to get a new team. That's also why I don't want Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Because I don't want a super team.
I'm like, who else is number 23? And like you said, it was open. I'm like, didn't Bradley Beal have this in college?
You get what I mean.
Oh, he's gonna eat right in front of my face. Huh?
Yeah, I'm hungry too.
What did?
The camera?
Oh, that's that.
What went out?
There was an error on the camera thing, and it messed up for a second.
Oh. Okay.
Probably because I slammed an energy drink right before I came.
Oh yeah, you slammed that energy drink?
Well, I was in the studio working on some stuff, and I realized, like, oh, shoot, it's 150. I was like, I got to run out here and grab this money and go buy this. So I was all in a rush. And, I ran out there and just had down like 30 seconds.
Should have shotgunned it.
I pretty much did.
Okay.
That was actually.
Alright, I'll put this out of the way so you don't get.
Next week, shotgun. We'll do it on the live stream.
No!
Be great content.
True. I might try and edit out these commercial breaks or something.
Let's all shotgun energy drink next week.
I will not shotgun energy drink.
I do not drink energy drinks.
You don't do anything.
Do anything fun. Live a little.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm gonna go home and watch baseball and get drunk. It's gonna happen. Fun times. Fun time had by all.
I'm not doing anything.
I'm really not.
Saturday, so.
I have fun in my own way.
Something like that.
We're about to be back, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely need to try and edit the commercials out.
We are back here on So What's the Catch, and I have some breaking news from the desk of Adrian Wojnarowski. LaMelo Ball is the Rookie of the Year.
What? Ooh,
And
I would have went Anthony Edwards.
Okay.
The host.
No, I think that was good for Ed.
but it's LaMelo.
It's good for Edwards. Now he has something to prove himself.
Are you comparing Wiggins to Edwards?
Yes.
Edwards was better.
At least with
Anyways,
before
before we get too deep into this, you have a conspiracy theory.
Yeah,
for us.
yeah, I
Then we
wanna
got
get-
football. Then we got
yeah,
football.
I want to get into this.
All right, so look, Kramer said last segment, number 23 was up for grabs for anybody on the Lakers. Bradley Beal wore 23 in college. I'm just saying, he's going into free agency, right? He goes to LA, is number 23, he's back, and he wore number 23 in college because of LeBron, not Michael. So you heard it here first. AJ said it. So what's the catch? Bradley Beal to the Lakers, he's number 23.
Yep.
Okay.
Beal to LA confirmed.
You're gonna see when I edit this an official graphic right above my head,
Yeah.
and we are putting this down in the books.
Yes.
We're not only putting this down in the books, we're putting it out into the universe. It's going to happen now.
It's
Okay?
on the live stream. You cannot take it back.
Yep. Okay. So football, Jeremy's favorite subject to
Yes.
talk about here, and I know he's been waiting 45 minutes to get into this. But Nick Chubb says Cleveland is where he wants to be. I think that's good news for all Browns fans to hear, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and this kind of ties in. I want to bring this all together. What I was
All right.
saying earlier in this. Have you guys seen this new show out yet, Dark Side of Football?
I have not watched it yet, but I've been meaning to.
I want.
Not heard about it.
So
I've heard-
Vice TV has had this
Yeah.
show out for the Dark Side of the Ring for a while, where they go deep in on wrestling.
Mhm.
And this is a spin-off on that show, Dark Side of Football. I've been watching it. First couple episodes, I've mentioned briefly in here something on Bill Belichick, yada,
Yeah.
yada. Well, the last episode was on the Cleveland Browns curse. It was an entire episode basically defecating on Cleveland for a good long hour. And it ended off, because I kept waiting for the end. I'm like, well, maybe we'll get to the end and there'll at least be, something like nice hope to leave it off on.
Yeah.
Yeah, enough.
There was maybe like 10 seconds. Like, and now they have Baker Mayfield, and maybe they'll be better, but probably not because they're the Browns. Wow, like, it's really starting to make me realize how people look at us, which I already knew, but still to this day. So when I see something like this now, Nick Chubb, that I feel like will start to turn the tide on stuff like this.
Mhm.
Nick Chubb wanting to stay here. And it just, for me, it also brings up like how important it is that this next season is successful.
Yes.
Because if this next season isn't successful, that's what everybody else is going to look like. Oh, it's the same old Browns.
Yeah.
Right.
Same old Browns. And you just brought up something you wanted to touch on when we were talking about the other teams wizarding and pirating.
And Brown. And now you want to talk about Brownsing.
Brownsing.
Explain.
That's one.
Browns. Well,
Same old Browns.
same old Browns. The team that passed up on Tom Brady. The team that
Drafted Courtney Brown.
Yeah,
took
drafted-
Tim Couch.
Passed on Deshaun Watson.
Drafted Johnny Manziel.
Drafted Justin Gilbert and they could have actually had
They-
that.
and that's recent history. Let alone going back to letting go Bernie Kosar, letting
The
go
fumble.
or the fumble and stuff before that, and Bill Belichick coaching here and letting him go. And
I mean, you can even go back 60 years and forcing Jim Brown to retire because he wanted to make a movie.
The team moving to Baltimore, for crying out loud. Art Modell.
it's just crazy to sit back and really see how the rest of the world looks at Cleveland.
It's funny because I have a little bit of a different perspective since I lived in Michigan for a long time. They have a very similar thing for the Lions. They refer to it as, again, same old Lions, which makes sense because they've been an irrelevant franchise for about 30 years, just like the Browns have been. But in a similar fashion, they have a term for what happens to when players that were good or coaches that were good come to the Lions and then they suddenly become bad. They call it lionizing.
That makes sense.
Oh God! Don't bring a Matt Millen to Detroit. They'll chase you with the with pitchforks.
The only player that I can, other than Matthew Stafford, the only player I can remember recently who's been good in Detroit is Megatron.
I have one, and Dominican Sue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Isn't he from Ohio?
Sue? He's from Oregon.
Oh, he is? I figured somebody else.
I think he plays for the Buccaneers now. I think.
Yep, Super Bowl champion and Dominican Sue.
But going back to them Browns and Nick Chubb, how important, we've been over this before, but how important do you think that is? Like, they have to extend Nick Chubb.
Yeah, but they have to do it with a reasonable contract. Like, I don't want them to give Nick Chubb an Ezekiel Elliott type contract because that contract has clearly bitten the Cowboys in the butt because he's not the same running back he was.
Well, the Cowboys have had other issues to deal with, and they're not necessarily Ezekiel Elliott related. Some of that's Jason Garrett related. Some of that is an injury to Dak Prescott. The new one is they hired Mike McCarthy for some bizarre reason.
Yeah.
But a perfect contract that the Browns should or could or at least attempt to sign to was the extension that the Tennessee Titans signed Derrick Henry to. Okay. That was a 4-year, $50 million contract. Okay. With an out after the second year.
I feel like that's a good comparison, too.
Because they're very similar players. The offenses are extremely alike. They have similar roles, same skill sets essentially. And it protects them from being on the hook for a lot of money because after this year, the Titans are only on the hook if they were to release them for $6 million.
Yeah, I like that deal.
So I had this in the rundown, but we had to make some modifications. The Browns are only going to be playing one home game in the preseason, and it's against the New York Giants. Leading up to that game, Browns and Giants will be doing some joint practices with each other. So
There was something like that last year, too.
Yeah,
They do that every year.
Yeah,
do you like that teams do that?
it's because it's preseason. If it was in the regular season, I would be flipping out, but I don't mind in the preseason.
And also, too, Freddie Kitchens on the Giants.
Freddie Kitchens is on the Giants now.
Yeah.
That's who the fight's going to be. That's
Why?
who the fight's going to be.
Dude, we played the Giants last year not in New York. It was in New Jersey, and there was no fight.
Freddie Kitchens is no Hugh Jackson, though. Like, we didn't leave really on those kind of terms.
Yeah, it's different when you watched a coach intentionally sabotage the team at times and attempt to trade for A.J. McCarron, and for them, the trade only got to go through, thankfully.
Because
Freddie
of a
Kitchens
copy
just being a bad
machine.
coach.
Which brings me right back to
That was sabotaged on purpose. Get real.
Which brings me right back to that Dark Side of Football show, because guess who they had on there talking for a good 15 minutes?
Hugh Jackson.
Hugh Jackson.
Hugh Jackson loves to talk about Hugh Jackson. He loves to talk about the Browns, okay?
He has all his stories about how the Browns screwed him over, but he will not separate himself from that.
No.
He only lives off of that legacy anymore.
Yeah, he accepts no blame for what happened. That's why I gave him the nickname the Deflector. He deflects blame to everybody else but him to make himself coming out squeaky clean and look like I was done wrong. Hey, maybe you're just an awful coach. Exactly.
Yeah. If John Dorsey was still the GM of this, if Dorsey was still the GM of this team, where would we be? Would we have had the success we had last year?
No. And that's a longer discussion that we can have a different time, but I
I'd
need
like to
to
have that discussion.
a different time.
Yes, I agree.
Next subject we have here is the college football playoff might expand to 12 teams, and I hate it. I hate it. It's
Yeah.
4. No,
Eh,
I think 4 is the perfect number.
Here's the thing. We always get the same 3 teams. Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson. I want more variety.
I like the okay, so I'm right in the middle of you two. I like the idea, but 12 is excessive.
12's too much because the issue I have is that for teams number 5 and team number 6 that finishes in the rankings, there is legitimate arguments that they could be in that top 4.
And that's why I feel like you can stretch it out to 6 teams.
I think 8
teams. Yeah.
8's a
I
good.
still think 8's too much. 6, I could do with 6.
6
1
or
and
8.
2, 1 and 2 having a first round bye and they played.
And honestly,
I think that would be better if they're going to expand it to 6. 8's too much.
I stand with James on it, honestly. I think 6 is perfect.
Sounds good.
If you look at the rankings over the past couple of years and how college football ended, that 5th and 6th team was always kind of in the mix.
They're always kind of good, but once you get further down, you get closer down to 10. It's like
You get some flukes.
you get like some like 10-2 Michigan State team. It's like, yeah, they had wins, but they didn't play Ohio State this year.
Right.
And their loss came to Michigan and somebody stupid like Illinois.
Your points are completely valid, and I totally understand them. And to a certain extent, I agree.
But you're going to disagree because
But you're gonna just
The only reason I'm going to push back is because having 8 gives more teams a chance.
Again, that's
kind of, but not really.
Because again, with
you'll
the
never.
4, you always seem to get Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson.
It's because they're the best teams.
and that's why you take it out to 6 and you still have some competition there.
I mean, because what this whole conversation centers around is everyone has. This happens every 10 years or so. There's some team that's really good, and they're upset that they're not getting considered for the national title. About 15 years ago, it was Boise State. That was a ridiculous conversation then. It's a ridiculous conversation now. A few years ago, it was UCF. Again, ridiculous conversations.
They
Those teams-
declared themselves national champions.
and I declare myself the king of the world. That doesn't make it true, okay?
Technically, I'm a billionaire.
And you actually have declared yourself the king of trivia, and we will get back to that.
Yeah, we'll get back to that later. But the one thing I will say on this is that if those teams actually played the teams that are in the playoff or the BCS title game, like for Boise State, they would get housed by 50, 60, 70 points.
I don't disagree.
So where's the entertainment value in that? It's about making it entertaining for you.
Who's normally like that 4th through like 16?
So it's
In the
teams like
past, it's been Oklahoma mainly.
Oklahoma, Ohio State, Wisconsin every once in a while, Washington,
Georgia.
Michigan, no, Georgia, yeah. But we got to head to a break before we head to hour 2. When we come back, I know we're talking some more baseball discussion to kick off hour 2. It's not going to be as fun as the first time, but you know what? Stick around.
That's still a commercial or ad.
Yeah, Oregon's been in a few, like once.
10, 12 is just too much.
Agreed.
8's too much.
I like 6. I feel like those 5 and 6 teams have always been good.
6 to 8.
And there's an argument 4, 5, and 6 to beat in there, but when you get to 7 and 8 or 9 and 10, 11, 12, when we get to 12, what the conversation is going to be extending up to those teams at 13 and 14. Well, this team should have been. You're just expanding the conversation,
Who
pushing
would
it
you
down.
give it to since you already have Ohio State, Clemson, Alabama?
Who'll be the 4th team?
Mhm.
Whoever else is like undefeated or won or really
I
good.
mean, Texas has been good.
Oklahoma.
So usually it's going to be like maybe an Auburn or a Florida State or
last year it would have been
or
Texas
Oklahoma.
A&M.
You know what I mean? Every once in a while a Pac-12 team sneaks in, so Washington or Oregon.
Expanding the field would also allow the Pac-12 to get in because they're, except for like Washington and Oregon, Pac-12 is always on the outside looking in.
Well, because the Pac-12 sucks. Okay? It's not a good conference. I mean, people like to talk bad about the Big Ten. They talk horrible. They say horrible things about the Pac-12 for football. Horrible things, because it's not good. And it's just not a good conference.
Mm.
I mean, the Big Ten it's Ohio State and Wisconsin is tier 2.
Penn State is in there.
Penn State is probably fringe 2 or 3. Same with Michigan. Michigan State's in tier 3. Then after that, it's who cares?
What about Minnesota?
No, I don't care about PJ Fleck and row the boat and all that crap. That guy's he's a fraud.
Northwestern?
No, they're good once every 5 or 6 years or so, and good for them is like 8 and 4.
And then you're just having Purdue, Illinois, Rutgers, Maryland.
You just bring up Rutgers and Maryland in a football
I
conversation.
thought we were talking about basketball.
You just brought up a bunch of basketball schools in a football conversation.
Oh yeah, Iowa.
Why not bring up Duke, North Carolina?
Kentucky.
Exactly.
Okay. Fair enough. That was a good conversation though.
Coming back.
Where are we starting with?
Baseball.
I know what about it.
Baseball.
Just follow along. Follow along.
Got it.
Join the ride. Get on the bus.
Roll the boat.
That's a reference or something.
Matt, that's Magic.
Anyways, we are back here on All Sports Cleveland. We are So What's the Catch? And we are kicking off hour 2, just like how we started off hour 1. That's with some baseball discussion. Quick note here, College World Series, the Oklahoma Sooners and Florida State Seminoles beat only 3 games. But it was the Sooners who won the Women's College World Series. Their Sooners' 5th national title. The Men's College World Series begins June 19th and is take place in Omaha, Nebraska. Now, getting on to some real topics of discussion here. Shane Bieber, Indians pitcher, placed on the injured list with right shoulder inflammation. Their pitching staff is screwed.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. What's your suggestion here?
Come on.
Who do we draft?
Who do we?
trade for? I mean,
You should see the look of disappointment on AJ's face.
I knew it was coming. I was hoping you might want to hear him out.
If you say Max Scherzer,
So here's the problem, is that their pitching staff was already decimated to begin with. An organization that used to have a wealth of pitching arms and arms available to them, that's gone. There's no depth there anymore.
Yep.
Okay. There's no Corey Kluber, Mike Clevenger, Trevor Bauer, Carlos Carrasco to lean on. These were the depth guys for those guys at that time. So,
and I saw this happening the whole time because it felt like every time they got rid of one of those pitchers, they would be like, well, we have such a wealth of pitching. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. But the more they got rid of after Kluber, okay, it'll be all right. And then Carrasco, it'll be all right. It's not all right anymore after
No.
you've gotten rid of, a few more.
yeah, so right now our number 1 pitcher in the rotation is Aaron Savali. I like Aaron Savali a lot, but he's no Shane Bieber.
no. I'm seeing him play tonight against the Baltimore Orioles.
Let's hope we can send the Orioles to an 18th straight road loss this evening.
Yep. And officially win the series because this is game 3 of a 4-game series.
So they're going to have to lean on a lot of what I referred to in an article I wrote on my website. Check it out. This is believeland.com. What I refer to as unlikely heroes for pitching, because no one's counting on J.C. Mejia or Cal Quantrill or
Well, they pulled up
McKenzie.
Eli Morgan.
Yeah, and they called up Eli Morgan. So these aren't guys that are necessarily starters. They're not stretched out to be
No.
starters. They're only stretched out for a couple innings.
And Terry Francona was asked, how exactly are you going to use Morgan? And he said, if I knew, I would tell you. So that's
I love
not
Tito.
exactly, something to reassure you.
Speaking of pitchers, though, back in early June, Adam Wainwright and Yadier Molina moved into 4th place on the, I forget what list it was off the top of my head.
You're talking about battery?
Yes, battery of games played.
Yeah, so those 2 guys have just been around forever in St. Louis. So, congratulations to those 2. But moving on to this next topic, this is kind of building off a topic from last week, and that's Tyler Glass now has a partial UCL tear, and he's blaming Major League Baseball's recent crackdown on foreign substances. And I'm with him on this
Yeah, I'm with him.
because, first of all, he did admit to using a foreign substance, okay? But now in his last start, he didn't use any, and now he has an arm injury. And he's blaming the fact that the stuff that he was using to aid his pitching, he didn't have anymore, so his grip on his hand is changing. It's different. It's putting different pressure points on his arm, which resulted in the injury. So it seems like we're having a huge problem here with pitchers getting hurt. I don't know if Bieber's injury is related, but I wouldn't be necessarily surprised. I don't know, but I think we're going to have a real problem here when it comes to the foreign substances and how they're regulating things.
Yeah.
Just saying nothing's allowed is going to cause problems.
And Carlos Rodon, a pitcher who actually threw a no-hitter against the Indians earlier this season, he gave a quote saying, "You're giving out 10-game suspensions for cheating, but you give the Astros no suspensions at all." That was in response to the punishment for pitchers using foreign substances being 10 games.
Which is outrageous. It really is. I mean, we all know, everybody knows pitchers have been using stuff to enhance or doctor their pitches for decades. Since the game was invented, okay? People have been finding ways to mess with the ball.
Right.
And so, whether it's just, some sunscreen or some sunscreen rosin mixture or pine tar, I get the understand for reasoning for trying to crack down on spider tack, and I'll touch on that in a second. But it's this other stuff that has been used and relied upon. So they'll put on their hat, their belt buckle, inside their mitt, on their mitt. I even heard a theory once that it's actually sometimes the catcher puts on the back of their jersey. So that's why you see the pitcher will take his arm sometime in the back of their jersey to get a nice little reapplication of some of the fun, sticky stuff.
It's crazy to me to see like how much little things like affect pitching though.
Mhm.
Like it's such a mechanics-based position to where stuff like that really affects. And this pitcher talked about, he said, I used to be able to hold the ball like an egg, and now he has to squeeze it. And that squeeze throughout, every game is putting strain on his arm because he's out there doing it for, an hour or two every night.
Just for clarification purposes, are you talking about Glass now? Or
Yeah,
are you
Glass now.
Okay. Since we had also quoted Carlos Rodon, so I just wanted to clarify.
No, that was a Glass Now quote. But the issue at hand isn't about pine tar or sunscreen or whatever concoction they're coming up with. It's spider tack. And what spider tack is doing that these other substances aren't is that it's increasing the spin rate and the velocity of the ball, but they're losing control of the ball. That's why you're seeing so many hit by pitches this year. That's why they're trying to make this crackdown, is because with sunscreen or pine tar, it's helping them control and command their pitches. They have a better feel. But spider tack, they're generating more velocity and RPM on the ball, and they have no control of it.
You started this off saying you agreed with him, and I was kind of on the fence, but the more I read about it, I kind of agree with him too, that this was kind of ridiculous on the MLB's part. And the point that he made was, why in the middle of the season?
Yeah, it's the problem right there.
Because I don't have a problem with the
100% the
rule
problem.
change, but why in the middle of the season? It's pretty obvious. I don't know why it didn't stick out to me, but it just did. Like, why in the middle of the season?
I mean, I couldn't agree with you more in this case, Kramer, because, like, if they had made this change, like, going into next season or at the beginning of this season, I would have been like, okay, fine. You're giving pitchers time to adjust and come up with new strategies. But in the middle of the season, you expect pitchers to just make an adjustment on the fly? That's not how it works.
And the real issue at hand is that Major League Baseball keeps changing the baseball every year. So they're using this stuff to get a better grip on a ball that they don't know what it's going to be. They could spend the entire offseason practicing with last year's baseball, coming to spring training and be like, hey, guess what? Baseball is different this year. Figure it out. And
Right.
whether it be higher seams or lower seams or just an overall different feel.
Don't you think also that, like, similar to other sports, baseball is trying to bend the rules more towards the offense?
Well, yeah, I think that goes back to what I was saying earlier, where they need that offense now. They need to find a way. It's become a problem. It's lowering their viewership.
Hence why I asked that.
And so, yeah, definitely.
Chirk, were you going to say something?
I was about to say, you ever play baseball?
I would totally play
I would
basketball.
be down with some baseball.
Yeah.
I would totally get down for some
I'd be
basketball.
I would too. I like that movie.
Basketball sounds good, actually.
So maybe towards the, I got an idea. Towards the end of the run of this show, we should play a basketball game
Oh, I'm down.
and
Yes.
get it on camera.
Yeah.
I agree.
We should totally get down for a basketball game.
Yes.
But I got a hypothetical thing, because we got a couple minutes here. An idea that was floated out by Dallas Braden as a way to change some things in regards to pitching. Because you know how in every baseball stadium, they all have different dimensions. So
Which I
maybe,
love.
maybe larger foul area, maybe it's smaller, maybe the fence is farther back, maybe it's closer. What if they took it one step further and changed the distance of the pitcher's mounds from stadium to stadium? So in one stadium, it's a little bit closer, so your fastball is going to be a little bit quicker. Or maybe it's a little bit back, and you need a little bit more to get your fastball on. Maybe you should rely on more breaking pitches that day. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, that would bring a lot of strategy back to the game that sometimes I feel like baseball is lacking a little bit of that strategy. So
That'd be cool, right?
yeah, I would love that.
So just that slider that just dives off at the end of the right at the end of the, right at the plate. If you're gonna a 59-foot distance between home plate and pitcher's mound, that thing's gonna dive off even just a little bit closer, and that's gonna make a huge difference.
Right, like the fastball that like gets crushed for a home run, it might now hit the outside part of the plate and get strike 3.
You're a big fantasy baseball guy, aren't you?
Yes.
Are you worried about how this is going to start affecting your fantasy team with all these pitching injuries?
Yes and no. Yes, because my pitching staff and all of my fantasy teams have already been affected. On my pitching team, but on 2 of my dynasty teams, I have like 15 different pitchers on the injured list right now. But there are a lot of guys that are just sort of those fringe guys, but they've been productive in fantasy, and they kind of come out of nowhere. Once stuff comes down and rules change, which they're going to in about 2 weeks or so, that they're going to start enforcing this. I think it's less than a week, or less than 2 weeks, about 10 days, I think. Then you'll see some guys that have been like, where did this guy come from? You see him drop off, oh, okay, yeah, we know you were using spider tack, or you were using this to make yourself just a little bit better. So I think a lot of information, a lot of new info will be found out about a lot of these pitchers that seemingly came out of nowhere the past year or two. So, but I think credit to where credit is due to Dodgers pitcher Trevor Bauer, because he called this 3 years ago and nobody wanted to listen to him. He said, hey, this is happening, and people are going to certain places and getting more spin. Garrett Cole, when he went down to Houston.
You had a little frog in your throat?
Just a little bit. But he tried to warn people. They did nothing. He said, F it. You're not going to please it. I'm going to do the same thing too and go get a huge contract. So credit to him and kudos to him for getting paid.
Yeah, good job. He won the Cy Young with Cincinnati.
He did win the Cy Young with Cincinnati.
That just seems like an anomaly, because if you think about Great American Ballpark, that's a hitter-friendly ballpark.
It is a hitter-friendly ballpark. And speaking of hitting, we got to hit to a break. When we come back, we have some talk about some UFC-related info.
I'll let you take the lead on Adesanya and stuff.
I know you guys love that segue. Speaking of hitting.
Yeah. That was good.
I have something else to back my conspiracy. September 29th, 2020, Bradley Beal bought a home in LA.
Nice. Dude, you were
Dude,
you were on point with your transitions and stuff today.
It's all practice. Practice.
I feel like this has been my best episode, personally.
It's been a good one. I hope it burps on Mondesi with the home run. And Selby Perez. All right.
Oh, I need to check my fantasy team.
So, who else got injured?
Valdez, oh my god.
So, Sanchez, Carrasco, Toussaint, Kluber, Hicks. That's just one team. Other team. Kluber, Glasnow, John Gray, Mike Clevenger, Luis Severino, Noah Syndergaard, Aaron Sanchez. I got another. And Tyler Davidson, Noah Syndergaard. That team also has Cody Bellinger, who's injured, and Brandon Nimmo, and Michael Conforto, and
We're starting
Ramiro
with
Reyes.
UFC, and then transitioning to Wilder and Fury.
Alright.
And if we have time, we'll touch on Hell in a Cell this Sunday for WWE.
How much time I got left in this break?
2 minutes. Better run. Oh, 1 minute.
No. Shit. No, this week.
Next break.
Yeah.
That's why I waited as long as possible before the show started to the bathroom.
I went right before I came in here.
Most of my pictures
Feel your
are,
pain.
dude, most of my pictures are not injured.
Lucky you.
But I don't really have anybody good though on my pitchers. I have Noah, I have Lynn, I have Burns, I have Mania, Stroman,
Strosho.
Marquez, Greg Holland, Bass, some pitcher for the Twins, and Pagan, some pitcher for the Padres. Berserk here?
Getting weird in the Berserk box, I see.
Yeah. So
You're getting weird in the Berserk box, I see. You.
It's always a good game.
It is.
Speaking of weird,
You seem-
AJ found another thing that kind of went with this conspiracy theory.
Oh yeah, Bradley Bill and September 29th, ESPN put out a thing that he bought a house in LA, Venus. Is that how you did it right?
Venice.
Venice. I'm sorry, I don't live there. I wish I did. He bought a house for $6.8 million.
He's going to LA.
Yeah, that definitely backs up your theory.
But you have some UFC related information
Yeah.
topics.
UFC
Nobody going to the Clippers.
UFC 263.
He killed my mood. I don't know what to do.
All right, I'll take it. I really enjoyed this pay-per-view. I watched it with my buddies over the weekend. Adesanya looked really good in the main event.
I think he should just stay at his weight class and not go back up to light heavyweight for a good while. Because that last one, it was. But this one, I was happy with his performance. I loved it.
Yeah. What did you think of Brandon Moreno winning the flyweight title?
I was just about to say that. In 2018, he was bounced out of the UFC.
I heard about this.
Now he's a champion.
Right.
I was kind of happy for him because
Even submission too.
yeah, that was a good fight. I think he did really well. I think he'll be like the champion for a while at that weight class.
Mm-hmm. But I before I go back to Adesanya, I want to hear your thoughts about Nate Diaz.
Nate Diaz, my boy.
Your self-appointed BMF, which I completely agree with you. That he is a BA, he is the BMF, not Masvidal.
Yeah. Nate, the fight was good. I think Leon Edwards, he did his thing. He controlled the fight the whole time. I feel like Nate could have finished him.
There were a couple times late in the fourth round,
Mhm.
early throughout the fifth where I'm like, Nate, you got the momentum. Why are you not trying to finish?
Especially at one point, he wobbled him and he just pointed at him that signature.
Like he's like, yeah, I got you.
But hey, like it was a good fight though.
Yeah. Did you? I didn't see him really use the Stockton slap at all.
Nah.
I'm like, what? I'm like, Nate. That is one of Nate Diaz's signature things is the Stockton slap, and I'm like, what? Where is it?
I don't think he had the opportunity to pull it off.
I mean, the one thing that we got with Nate was him getting bloody.
It was a good fight though.
Yeah.
I was happy with that whole card.
Yeah, it was a great card. 264, I think, is going to be amazing next month. But going back to Adesanya, the biggest thing I was questioning about him after his loss against Jan, as you touched on, was, can he do it well against a wrestler? Because Vittori, that's not necessarily his specialty, but I would say Vittori can wrestle. So I wanted to see how Adesanya would do with takedowns. I don't know, was that what you were looking for? Or?
Kind of, but also I would say when he went up to light heavyweight, he was on the lower end of the light heavyweight. So he was dealing with a dude that's like walk around much bigger than he does.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if he ever does go back up in the future, he needs to put on more weight than weight. Because he came in like, what,
203? Something like that?
And the guy he fought was like, what, 225, 230?
At least.
So I would say put on more.
But, so, interesting that you bring that up. Because I watched the ESPN post-fight show, and they were saying that Whitaker's the next fight. A rematch with Whitaker is the next fight to make.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were saying, like, after that, what do you do with Adesanya? Because he's pretty much cleared out the middleweight division, so maybe give him, like, till next March or whatever, and to allow him to put on the weight, put on the muscle, as you suggested, and give him a second crack at 205.
That's exactly what you need to do. I see him beating Whitaker if they fight again.
Yeah, I agree.
I would say take that time off, basically do what John Jones is doing.
Yeah.
John Jones went from what 225, now he's at 255.
Yeah.
Take
You think
time
that
off.
fight with Ngannou is actually gonna happen?
I hope so, but right now it's not looking like it. Just
Yeah.
because the money.
Yeah. But speaking of like rematches and stuff, there's a boxing match that you want to touch on.
Yeah. Hold on, got to make sure he doesn't kill my Bob again. Chirk, anything?
You got anything?
I don't really, I mean, I don't know, I like Nate Diaz, I'm a big Nate Diaz fan,
You look like you want to say something, Kramer.
Just Nate Diaz. I want to go back and make sure I got this right, but I was just reading some story, and I think, what's his face? Your homeboy, Jake Paul. I think he just said he was going to knock him out.
Oh, wait, Chirk, you still want to challenge Jake Paul? Okay.
This has been going on since like we started the podcast.
Oh, no, it's been going on.
Yeah.
But with this,
Hey, keep dreaming, Chirk. Keep dreaming. Get that money.
Oh, you just flashed the Money Manziel symbol into your camera over there.
all right.
I don't think anybody wants to be Money Manziel.
So
He needs to be put in a boxing ring.
with the trilogy fight between Wilder and Fury coming up next month, I'm kind of happy that this is happening. One, because I just want to see them fight.
Yeah.
It was a very long stare down they had yesterday. It was 5 minutes and 40 seconds of just staring at each other. You could feel the animosity through your phone. But one thing, I've been following Wilder for a few years,
Yeah.
and he's expressed that he wants a body on his record. So he wants like
What do you mean a body? Like,
he wants the pleasure of killing someone in the ring. And that he was
What?
Yeah, you heard that right. I don't repeat it.
Well, that's like a common prison slang, too. Whenever people say they have a body, that usually means you murdered somebody.
He
Sure.
was Ivan Drago.
Chirk coming through the Ivan Drago reference where I can get to it.
So he expressed it.
Best Rocky movie ever.
He said he doesn't want to talk about it too much, but everybody that's been following, they knows what I want coming out of this trilogy. In my head, I was like, whoa, okay. But I'm excited just to see where it goes. Tyson Fury said he's trying to get up to 300 pounds to go for a knockout queen.
yeah. I mean, I'm somewhat excited for the trilogy. I watched the second fight. I did not watch the first.
Mhm.
But in that second fight, Fury just,
So he tore him up.
yeah. And
First fight was it was iffy because Fury had it, but then Wilder had 2 knockdowns, and I feel that Wilder won the first one,
mhm.
Fury won the second one, and it should be 1-1.
I can't give you a definitive opinion about the first fight. I'd have to go back and watch it. But from what I've seen, like people were talking about how Tyson Fury got up. I think it was from the second knockdown.
Yeah.
But there's an excuse from Wilder that just boggles my mind. He said following the second fight that his legs were shaky because his costume weighed like 40 pounds. And I'm like, dude, did you try it on the day before you made the walk?
It was that actually made me mad because he said it was 40 pounds. He said he tried it on the day before. He knew it was heavy, and he still walked out with it. At that point, I would either just not wear it, take some of it off, but he said it was already just supposed to happen. He was supposed to wear it. But it's not that long of a walk from where he was to the ring. So
Right.
Wasn't there another story similar to this like a couple years ago about someone that was wearing too much stuff?
I believe so. I
Yeah,
don't remember what it was.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Was it McGregor?
No, I don't think
it was McGregor.
I don't think it was Connor.
If anybody knows, they can definitely drop it in the comments.
But when I think of Wilder, all I think of is just that big right hand, kind of similar to Tyron Woodley.
Yeah, that's pretty much all. Well, that's pretty much all he was. I don't know if he's been fine tuning his skills, but I hope he has, so he could showcase more than just that walk around, punch you down with that right hand this whole fight.
Right.
But I'm thinking this is going to be a good fight.
I want it to be a good fight because we don't see trilogies that often. Like before, especially in boxing. Like I follow boxing loosely. Like if there's a big fight, I'll watch it. Like I watched Lomachenko against Lopez, for example. I would say I'm more of a UFC type guy not because it's people beating each other up, but because of all the techniques the fighters use. You have Muay Thai, you have Jiu-Jitsu, submission, kickboxers, strikers. Sumo wrestling. Yeah, they did. But
yeah, I just feel this is gonna be good to watch because I feel like both are hunting for a knockout, so it's gonna be just very entertaining and.
I like that it's heavyweight too.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like heavyweights, you don't really see a lot of trilogies. You don't really see trilogies that much, like you said. I think the last time I've seen somebody go back and forth with somebody was like Pacquiao.
Nope.
That was it.
The last one I can remember in UFC is recent, Stipe and Cormier.
And you're about to get ready for Conor and Dustin.
Yeah. So, and the only one I can remember before Stipe and Cormier was not Dillashaw, I'm sorry. Cruz and Faber.
But yeah, this should be fun coming up.
Yeah.
You said you had something.
And WWE's last pay-per-view in the Thunderdome is this Sunday. It is called Hell in a Cell. So it's an okay card. It's Drew McIntyre against Bobby Lashley inside Hell in a Cell. Then you got Roman Reigns against Rey Mysterio, which, yes, he is still wrestling.
What day is this happening?
Sunday.
Okay. The day right before that is 619.
Yeah, Rey Mysterio has a move called the 619. Then you got Rhea Ripley against Charlotte Flair, and you got Bayley against Bianca Belair. Not that great of a card. WWE, they're struggling right now, honestly.
I think Vince McMahon knows what he's doing. He'll just continue to just print money. But we got to head to a break real quick. When we come back, we got a quick hockey update, quick hockey session, and random Cleveland Sports Athlete of the Week.
Good talking with you about that stuff.
Yeah, you killed my vibe, though.
Chirk Berserk killing vibe. Chirk Berserk, the vibe killer.
Yes, he is the. I just missed a call from Beyond Air.
Huh? From the school.
I don't even have Beyond Air in my contacts or anything.
That's what their caller ID comes up as.
If they let me know voicemail.
Oh, you trouble.
Go to the NHL app. Double check that I have the series scores correct. Yep. Tonight is Montreal Vegas game 2. Vegas we don't know. Tomorrow is Lightning Islanders series tied 1-1. No conference finals this year.
Okay.
I'll explain that. It's just because of the new alignment of the divisions.
Mm-hmm.
There's the North Division, there's the I don't need to say what all the divisions were called. They're just the West, Central, East, North. Where's Gene? Jim Kramer.
I went to the bathroom.
I think we're about to be back.
And we are back here on So What's the Catch on All Sports Cleveland. And we got a little bit of a quick Stanley Cup playoff update. Josh, take it away.
That is right. Tonight is Montreal against Vegas, game 2. The Vegas Golden Knights lead that series 1-0.
Vegas.
Go Knights, go!
Oh, wait. So our team beat your team?
The Avalanche aren't actually my team, but in this particular case, yes.
So our team beat your team?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Vegas, baby, Vegas.
Yes, I would love to see Vegas win. And then last night, the Tampa Bay Lightning evened up their series against the New York Islanders at 1 game apiece.
Go Islanders.
Quick clarification. Usually we have this round is the conference finals. However, because of the division realignments, there is no conference finals. It's just Stanley Cup semifinals. Winner of these two series meet for Lord Stanley in the Stanley Cup final.
I am so excited to see the Vegas Golden Knights take on the New York Islanders in the Stanley Cup Finals.
I would love to see that because it means we get a new champion. Now, before we exit hockey, hypothetically, let's say the Monsters did not exist.
Okay.
If Cleveland got an NHL team, do you think they would survive? And B, would you support them?
Well, I can answer this real quick. No, then yes. No, they wouldn't survive, but yes, I would support them.
Okay. Same.
So what were the Lumberjacks back in the 90s?
They were the IHLs, not the AHL.
Cleveland had a
Because I remember that failed.
Cleveland had a brief attempt at the NHL with the Barons, but they folded or they merged with the Minnesota North Stars and became the Dallas Stars.
Well, I remember the Lumberjacks. I have a Lumberjack puck at home. Actually saw one of their games in the 90s, but I stick with what James said.
There's just no chance. Let's be honest here. Let's look at the top teams in town, and it pretty much the fandom attendance for those games. It pretty much follows the popularity of each sport. So it's Browns, Cavs, then Indians. Then if you would add the 4th tier sport to the city, they would get even less attendance than the Indians.
Okay, fair enough. I would love to see an NHL team here because I would instantly become a fan.
Always trying to Columbus.
Yeah, Columbus is 2 hours away. I consider them to be my hometown team.
So I'll play hypothetical on your hypothetical. Let's say Columbus didn't exist. Okay. Let's say the Blue Jays.
I would be a Penguins fan.
Let's say the Blue Jays didn't exist. Do you think a Cleveland NHL team would have a chance? Because I would still say no.
I would say yes, actually.
Cincinnati doesn't have a team?
No.
I thought they did.
They have a minor league team.
So I was looking back on this history. The Cleveland Barons, they were a team in the NHL for just 2 years.
Yeah, and then they
76 to
folded
78
and
before
merging
merging.
with the Minnesota North Stars and became the Dallas Stars that we know and love today.
But I don't feel like it would fare any better now.
See, I feel like Cleveland's in a bit of a black hole when it comes to the NHL because right now you have Columbus, which is like 2 hours south of us. Then you have Pittsburgh, that's 2 hours to the east. You have Detroit, although the Red Wings are not very good right now, but they're like, 2 or 3 hours north of us?
They're a legacy franchise.
Yeah. But
Indiana have a team?
no. They have a minor league team called the Indianapolis Fuel, and they're a minor league affiliate of the Chicago Blackhawks, who are 6 hours to the west of us.
But anyways, I think what it comes down to is that Cleveland is, even if the Blue Jackets weren't a team, they're too close to Pittsburgh and Detroit to support their own NHL team. Because you have fans of the Penguins and you have fans of the Red Wings in this area. It wouldn't work. That's why when you see those expansion teams, they put them in places where there is not another team. That's why places like Vegas was able to grow so quickly. I mean, people always think of the Strip in Vegas, but there is a very large just population of people that live there.
So, one other thing. Well, I love looking at like these obscure topics that people don't always talk about.
Mhm.
And when I go to like Monsters games, for example, obviously you're going to see Blue Jackets fans, and you're going to see fans of the away team. But I also see fans of other teams. Like I've seen St. Louis Blues fans, I've seen Boston Bruins fans, I've seen Avalanche fans. Although that would make sense because the Monsters used to be affiliated with the Avalanche. But expanding that out, like when I was at the Indians game last night, they were playing Baltimore. And yet I saw an Oakland A's fan and a Washington Nationals fan. There's nothing wrong with it. I just enjoy looking at that. Like when I went to the Browns games in 2019, for every game I went to, I had a running list of other teams' fans I saw besides Browns fans and the away fans. Because that's just something fun for me to do.
Me and my friends used to call that the irrelevant jersey game. Okay, wearing a jersey of a team that isn't playing. But for baseball, I'll say this, is that there seems to be a decent amount of traveling people who still wear their stuff. I mean, the most notable person is Marlins, man.
I love
Who
Marlins, man.
still wears his Marlins jersey no matter what game he's going to.
Do you enjoy looking at that type of stuff?
Well, sometimes. Again, we used to play the irrelevant jersey game. We used to count how many we would see. Well, I think one time we went to a Pistons game, we counted like 30.
Yeah. I don't really see that many fans of other teams at Cavs games.
I do. I always get a mix of like, all right, he has a Cavs jersey, and then like 5 jerseys later, it's nothing to do with the Cavs or the team they're playing.
I think one time I saw an Ottawa Senators fan at a Browns game, and I'm thinking, you're at completely the wrong sport because the Senators are a hockey team.
All right, so that's going to bring us to the random Cleveland Athlete of the Week. All right, I think I got a good one. I have a backup already just in case.
Chirk?
In case Chirk goes on a run again. Okay, we're going to start it off this way.
What sport?
It is football.
Football, okay.
It is football.
AJ's face, he's like soppy, disappointed.
All right, so his middle name is Laird. He was born in 1957 in Pennsylvania and was undrafted out of college. Any guesses? He's not Bob Golick.
What's the name?
Laird.
Laird. L-A-I-R-D. Laird.
Not Lard, Laird.
It is not Bill Lambier because this is football, not basketball.
Where did that come from?
Okay, he originally began his career with the Philadelphia Eagles before coming to the Browns from 1980 to 1982.
No, Philly.
No, he was on Philly for 1979, then 80 to 82 with the Browns, and back to the Eagles in 83 and 84.
Dante Cunningham?
No. He only played 4 NFL seasons. He did not appear with the Eagles his first time around. He started a total of he started a career of 4 games in the NFL, all with the Browns, played 25 with the Browns.
I'm not either.
I'm going to keep going, don't worry. Shortly after his career ended, he began his coaching career at age 28 under Marty Schottenheimer with the Browns.
Not Bill Belichick.
It's not John Gruden. His coaching career kept him in Cleveland from 1985 to 1988 before he became the defensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs in 89 and 91.
I should start watching football more.
I should start watching more historical football.
Yeah, this is the 1980s.
This is a tough one,
Yeah,
but
it's far.
I'm gonna start
But-
Googling random things more.
this recent pieces of information is the way you're going to get this answer. He started his coaching career then. He began as a coach in 1992 as a head coach. I'm not going to reveal the team yet because that will give away the answer. He has a head coaching record of 149, 90, and 1.
Don Shula.
It is not Don Shula. What was that? No, not Rex Ryan. His coaching career ended in 2006, and he's
Bill
been on-
Cowher.
There you go, Bill Cowher. Oh, wow. Yeah.
2006 is what gave it away for me.
I never would have thought.
Yep.
Power from the Browns.
Yep. Bill Cowher played for the Browns.
I know who that was.
Yep, he won the Super Bowl 40, one of the more controversial Super Bowls, I will say.
That Super Bowl was rigged, and everybody knows it.
Yep.
Yeah, that one.
Yep, the Seahawks would have won that game.
That game was rigged, and I'll tell you why it's rigged. Jerome Bettis, anyone know where Jerome Bettis is from?
Detroit, yeah.
Where was that game played?
Detroit.
And that was his final game. It was in front of his family in his hometown in
Yep.
Detroit.
So, what was the big question here? What's big? Sean Elliott, all day.
I don't know.
Eh,
Let me look up this.
He was a beast back.
I will say, even though we're Browns fans and we're supposed to dislike the Steelers, I respect the heck out of the Steelers. They've only had, what, like 3 head coaches in
50-something years.
50-something years. The Rooneys are great owners. They have 6 Super Bowl rings. All the interactions I've had with Steelers fans have been fantastic.
All the interactions I've had with Steelers fans have been terrible.
Yeah.
That's another thing I enjoy doing is like talking with opposing fans.
Well, if we're gonna touch on this for a second, like you're like glossing over it. The reason people don't like the Steelers is because all these reasons. Because we are right next to them, and we've had to live in the shadow of all this. Because they're in our division, and we've had to get beat by them over and over again. Because they're close to us, and there's so many people around Ohio who are fair weather friends. Because the Ohio team isn't good, so what do? They root for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right. Yeah, I get that.
Real quick, I gotta mention one thing. Then we gotta head to a break. My time living in Michigan is funny because the Lions were so bad they were looking for another team to root for, right?
Steelers.
So it was the Steelers, and here's their lines of thinking. I want to root for a team, but I can't be an NFC team. I want to root for a team that's around my area. Oh, I'll just pick the Steelers. Jerome Bettis is from Detroit, and he played for the Steelers.
Ultimate bandwagon.
That's how Detroit was. But we got to head to a break. When we come back, Josh has a message to the Browns and Indians, and Jeremy is bringing back his quiz.
And we have the pet peeve of the week.
How are we gonna fit all that in?
Well, he's had some of those berserker ends. I think 3 seconds.
I'll
Yes,
say the
it's
pet
Berserker.
peeve.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
I know we can get the berserker, right? I'm talking about him.
We'll figure it out.
If we can't fit it in, it's fine.
And if we go over, we go over. How's that sound?
Deal. I mean, yeah. Is it back around to me for pet peeves of the week?
Mhm.
Okay. If this segment ends up fading out, perfectly fine. I enjoyed the segment if this is the last time.
Me and Chirk only got 6 weeks left.
Aww, goodness, yeah.
What's up?
That me and Chirk got like 6 weeks left.
Oh, yeah?
I think he's doing emphasis though. The emphasis program.
I'm thinking about doing the emphasis program after this.
I'm going to search the job market first. If I'm not getting anywhere, I'll consider that. But I feel a lot of the things I'll learn that I already know. Just from experience and stuff I did before coming.
Wait, are we gonna mention Christian Eriksen or?
I totally forgot about that. We don't have time.
Ramos is leaving Real Madrid. Spanish defender. Orion is a free agent after 16 years at the club.
Who?
Some Real Madrid player.
What's his name?
Just Ramos. I don't know his first name.
Sergio.
Oh, Sergio Ramos. Not Sergio Romo, sorry.
Not the pitcher for the Giants?
Not the pitcher that struck out Miguel Cabrera to end the World Series. Sergio Ramos. We're coming back with my message for the Browns and Indians?
Yep.
Okay.
And we are back for the final segment of So What's the Catch. This has been a fun Wednesday afternoon.
This has been one of my favorite episodes we've done.
I'm just cold.
You got a sweatshirt on, man.
Cold. I don't know why.
But we're going to kick off this segment with Josh and his message to the Browns and Indians.
So, yeah, this is relevant because I went to the Indians game last night, and I'm going again tonight. I'm going to get kind of personal here. I have Asperger's, which means I'm on the mild end, lower end, I should say, of the autism spectrum. So, for me, that means a few things. Number one, I can be hypersensitive. So, like, something, when you say, like, some things to me, I'm not always going to be able to differentiate whether, like, you're saying it in a serious way or if you're joking. But in this particular case, like, loud noises like pyrotechnics and stuff like that. So for several years, when I've gone to Indians games at Progressive Field, I've had major anxiety because they use fireworks in game. And now the Browns have recently started doing that. I love going to Indians games. I love going to Browns games. I don't want to have to sit in fear about what if they score a touchdown? What if they hit a home run? What if the Indians win? I don't want to have to, like, leave my seat or, sit there shaking in my boots. So this is a request to the Cleveland Indians and to the Cleveland Browns. Stop using fireworks and all pyrotechnics during games, because it's not just me that's dealing with this. There are other people, whether they're on the autism spectrum or not, who I guarantee have the same fear. I know there's sensitivity rooms, but come on. The pyrotechnics don't add anything to the game. I want to be able to just sit down, enjoy the game, have a great time with my friends, not have to worry about, oh, what if the Indians hit a home run? What if the Browns score a touchdown? Stop with the fireworks. All pyrotechnics.
I would just push back that how long has pyrotechnics been a major thing in baseball? Have you been seeing it pretty much your entire life?
Yep.
So I know this is a problem that's probably been brought up before because it's been that long. And if they haven't stopped yet, I don't ever see them stopping.
I want them to stop so bad.
I mean,
Does wearing earplugs help at all?
Yeah, but I still get major anxiety about it. I've gotten better with some aspects, like the Cavs intro I've gotten better with, but that's also because I know when the Cavs intro is happening. I just want them to stop the pyrotechnics. I've even tried writing a letter to the Haslams that they didn't actually receive it, but it would just make my life and so many other people's lives a lot easier. Because I consider myself a pretty big sports fan. I want to be able to just enjoy the game. I don't want to have to sit in fear. I don't want to have to sit in anxiety. Stop with the pyrotechnics.
All right, then. Jeremy, you have your quiz?
Yes, I do. And I wanted to change the point of this quiz because Scoop over here is such a quiz guy, man. He jumped in on our show last night, and was still winning without even, he just showed up out of nowhere and started winning quizzes. So
Trivia games have never been a strength of mine.
King of trivia.
I got some trivia. This is supposedly hard trivia. I kind of feel like this was a jip for being hard. I feel like he's going to blow through this. No, okay. So my whole goal on this one is to I want to get a trivia where James gets at least half wrong, okay, or more. And I'm going to give the question, give James a chance to answer it. If he can't answer it, anybody else can steal.
All right.
So NBA trivia, this is supposed to be hard. We shall see. The 1996 Bulls set the regular season win total record of 72. Which team broke this record?
The 2016 Golden State Warriors, 73.
Hey, this isn't for you.
You didn't give him a chance to answer.
But you knew I would have got that one.
Yeah.
73.
Just from that first question, I feel like that was very easy.
That's a
Yeah.
layup.
And they say these were the hard ones.
Okay.
Who was the first foreign player to be drafted #1 overall?
Ooh.
See, some of these are a little harder.
First foreign player.
The NBA, all of these are NBA questions.
Yeah.
Michael Thompson from the Bahamas.
Oh.
Which NBA team sent 4 players to the All-Star game in 2015?
I think I know this one.
James, do you have it?
15. I wasn't gonna get it.
It is the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
That was the year they had the top seed in the Eastern Conference, and they got swept by us.
So this has been a pretty good start.
Okay, yeah.
What rookie played an instrumental role in the Houston Rockets title run in 1994?
Oh, I know this one.
Rookie?
Rookie, 94, Houston Rockets.
Chirk looks like he's ready to steal this one.
This is,
You can't answer. Let James answer first.
Sam Cassell.
That is correct.
what? I thought it was Big Shot.
Sam Cassell.
No.
Which 2 teams participated in the 2004 Malice at the Palace?
Pacers, Pistons.
Yep.
We already talked about this today.
NBA All-Star Jermaine O'Neal spent most of his career with the Indiana Pacers, but which team drafted him in 1996?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, I think I know this one.
He was drafted by. Oh, I was getting annoyed by this too. Portland.
You are correct.
Yep.
Which year did this has got to be an easy one. 3-point shot. Which year did it get introduced to the NBA?
79.
79 is correct. Which musical artist, I'm not even. This is the dumbest question. Which musical artist sold his ownership share in the Brooklyn Nets in 2013?
Jay-Z.
Duh. Some of these actually are hard, but some of these are mixed in and ridiculous.
Yeah.
Which San Antonio Spurs legend was nicknamed the Admiral?
David Robinson.
Yeah, that's David Robinson.
Which 2 players shared Rookie of the Year honors in 1999 and 2000?
Oh, AJ looks like he's ready to explode.
99 and 2000.
99 and 2000, 2 players shared Rookie of the Year honors.
I know that.
Don't answer yet.
Hold on, give it a second.
Tim Duncan, Elton Brand.
No.
Kid and Grant.
Kid Grant.
No, it's Stevie Franchise and Elton Brand.
Steve Francis and
Franchise.
I thought Kid and Grant.
yep, Steve Francis and Elton
I got
Brand.
half of it.
Chirk got the steal.
I said Tim Duncan and Elton Brand.
Who was the first overall pick in the 1983 draft?
83.
83. Let's go back a while.
Ooh, maybe 3.
I don't see anybody going to steal this one.
Sam Bowie.
It is any steals before
Wait,
Ralph Sampson.
Ralph Sampson.
You said
Yeah.
Who is the only player in
Remember.
NBA history to have 3 sons play in the league?
Only player to have 3 sons play in the league.
Only player in NBA history to have 3 of his sons play in the league.
Not the Phoenix Suns.
No, sons as in children.
Trying to think.
3 sons.
Can't think of there's another Barry brother because there's John and Brent Barry.
There's another one of those.
There's another Barry brother.
You said, who did you say?
John and Brent. Their dad's Rick Barry.
You guys got it between the 2 of you.
Rick Barry.
It
I
is
knew it was Rick Barry. I knew it was
his
Rick Barry.
sons,
but I didn't-
Brent, John, and Drew.
I know there was Drew.
I
Barry.
know there's the Holiday brothers now with John.
These were 3 though.
Their dad didn't play that.
Yeah.
Who is the first player in NBA history to play in 1,000 straight games successfully?
Successfully? Man, 1,000 straight? I don't know. Bill Russell.
AC Green.
Oh, I got that.
Dwayne Wade spent most of his career with the Heat. What is the first team he signed with?
I know this one.
First team he signed with?
First team, Dwayne Wade.
Oh, I know.
Some meaning. First team signed with the Heat. But
After he left.
After
he
you
left with
left.
Chicago.
I'm sorry, what is the first team he signed with when he left?
Chicago.
Yeah, the Chicago Bulls.
Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
Which player tore his ACL twice but won the MVP award in the 2010 and 11 season? This one's another real easy one.
Oh.
Oh.
Derrick Rose.
Yeah, don't overthink
When you
it.
said it, I thought it was like he did it in that same season.
Yeah.
Like,
After the 2015 Olympics, which player had been on the U.S. team a record number of times?
After 2015.
After the 2015 Olympics, which player was on the U.S. team a record number of times?
Kobe Bryant.
Actually, no.
Oh.
Any other steals?
Carmelo.
It is Melo.
Yeah.
4 times. 16, 12, 8, and 4.
Kobe must have skipped a couple.
I would think he would have.
Which year was Michael Jordan's signature shoe first released?
1984.
1984. And which NBA player was nicknamed Chocolate Thunder?
Oh, I know that. I know that.
Oh,
Darryl
I know
Dawkins.
this.
Daryl Dawkins. That was I did just add that up quickly, and he beat it by like 1 point. So he did get over 50%.
King of trivia.
It was close though.
A couple of those were tough.
So we'll be coming back next week and we'll try again.
Yeah.
A couple of those were tough. Come on, Berserkers.
Okay, who's your berserker?
All right. So the berserker of the week goes to
Oh, we got a drum roll?
the man, the myth, the legend, someone you don't want to cross the bridge.
Oh my god.
It'll be a few miles. Or
He's back. He's back. I knew where he was going when he said he don't want to cross the bridge. I knew where he was going.
Okay. And I guess that leads to my segment, which is pet peeve of the week, which this might be the final time. I don't know. Does anybody have any other pet peeves?
Not today.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I do today.
Okay, this one's going to sound kind of stupid, but I'm going to go with it anyway. I get nervous when teams go empty backfield. So that's my pet peeve, when teams go empty backfield. Because it's like you're playing, like, you know those neon, like, open signs for, like, restaurants and stuff?
Yeah.
I feel like when you go empty backfield, it's like putting one of those signs above your quarterback, but instead of it saying open, it says hit me.
Well, if you have the right quarterback, it's not an issue. You have someone like Brady or Rodgers or Mahomes or Lamar Jackson, it's not an issue. You have somebody like Baker Mayfield, on the other hand, that's a different story.
I thought he was about to say break the toe for a second. Have the cherry on top.
But, I mean, if it's one of those guys, they're either good enough and smart enough and quick enough to make a play, or they're able to do something with their legs. So it's not really an issue.
I just always get a little bit nervous. Like, why do you not have protection? Like, you know. And it usually works out, but still, I don't.
Well, hear me out real quick. Let's say you're the Ravens. You go empty backfield with Lamar Jackson. Know what you just successfully did? You have cleared out a path for him to run right up the middle. It's a snap and run it. Direct snap, direct go.
Yeah, I get. There are pros and cons to it.
It just depends on the quarterback, depends on the situation.
Yep. But for me, it's like playing a hit me.
I got a question for Mr. Chirk. Hasn't Mikhail been like berserker of the week already?
Yeah.
How you gonna keep doing this?
Yeah, wait. You gotta change your. Yeah,
I thought
exactly.
you berserker of the week 3 times so far.
At
You
least.
just keep giving it to the same person.
Okay.
Okay, that's. See, he actually did stuff.
I feel like Chirk just comes off with this off the top of his head, and then by the time he leaves the room, he forgot who he picked.
I
No,
think next week is definitely gonna be Mikael Bridges again.
I mean, my theory is that he forgets to do it all week. Remembers Berserker of the week. Oh crap! I think somebody. I'll just pick Mikael Bridges again. No one's gonna know. No one's gonna know.
So definitely make sure to tune in next week when Mikael Bridges will be the Berserker of the week.
For a record 4th time in a row.
LeBron just slammed the NBA's short offseason. Yay!
Right on.
See you, Max Nation.
That was a sudden. All right.